Well, good morning. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. But we just don't say stuff to say stuff. Today, we're following up on something that the corporate press is breathless about. President Trump's shutdown of USAID. We talked about that ad nauseum a few weeks ago. They're saying that this shutdown is reckless and that it'll cause death. They always say, and people will die. They always say that. CNN basically held a telethon of despair. But today, I want to talk about the other side. I want to talk about the voices from Africa that the American media has no interest in amplifying. What if the very people this aid was supposed to help, what if they're saying, thank you for finally stepping back? What if that's what they're saying? Okay, on July 1st, 2025, which was yesterday, USAID was officially shut down. It was shut down as a separate government agency. It was folded into the State Department, stripped of its bloated budgets, and reined in under the big beautiful bill. Critics call it cruel. But what if it was the most respectful move Washington has made towards Africa in decades? What if it's an overdue message that simply says, we believe that you can take care of yourself? We have to be honest here. USAID wasn't just about helping people, it was about managing people, structuring how foreign nations functioned with American cash and American expectations. And over time, it created a new colonial chain, not enforced with guns or governors, but with grants and guidelines. So here's the truth. Many Africans are friggin' done with it. Agete Wade, a brilliant entrepreneur from Senegal, said this. They said, foreign aid has infantilized Africa. We don't need charity. We need capitalism. And she's not the only one. From Akira to Kalagi to Nairobi, there's rising chorus saying, stop treating us like patients. Start treating us like partners. Okay, let's zero in on Kenya, one of Africa's most dynamic nations, and one of the clearest examples of why Africans are ready to cut the cord. Because Kenya isn't poor. Kenya is rich. It's been told it's poor for so long that even some of its own people started to believe it. Kenya's natural resources are this: oil and gas. Turkana County sits on one of East Africa's largest crude oil deposits. Production began last year, 2024. And with the right investment, Kenya could become a net exporter of petroleum within the decade. Oh, rare earth minerals. Remember the rare earth minerals we talked about in Ukraine? In Kawali and Imbu, Kenya holds a vast deposits of niobium, make sure I say that right, niobium, there you go, and rare earth minerals used in things like smartphones, electric cars, and military technology. Right now, China's trying to grab them, but Kenya could be the next big player. In agriculture, Kenya's fertile. That Rift Valley is the breadbasket of all of East Africa. Tea, coffee, maize, and avocados are booming. If the infrastructure and markets are truly African owned, it's going to be amazing. Now, also tourism and wildlife. From the Masai Mara to Mount Kenya, the tourism economy could explode if not micromanaged by foreign, quote, partnerships that send profits back to London or Brussels. So the question isn't, can Kenya stand on its own? The question is, will the West finally get out of the way long enough for it to do so? Let's go a little deeper. Because the most dangerous legacy of foreign aid isn't economic, it's psychological. Chika Onyeani, a Nigerian-born economist and journalist, wrote a book a few years ago called Capitalist Nigger. Yes, that was the book's real title. It was bold, it was controversial, and it was brutally honest. In that book, he said this: Africa's greatest weakness is psychological dependence. That's what must end first. Let that sink in. Onyeani wasn't just talking about budgets. He was talking about mindsets, a long-standing belief drilled in over generations that real solutions come from somewhere else, usually white, Western, and wearing a donor badge. He called out the trap, the assumption that someone must always rescue Africa. The idea that global institutions, the IMF, the World Bank, USAID, are inherently benevolent. The belief that progress requires outside validation. To Onyeani, it wasn't just bad policy, it was mental enslavement. And he wasn't playing victim. He challenged Africans to break the chains by embracing capitalist innovation, self-reliance, and cultural pride, not by waiting for the next relief package. He said that Africa was too rich to be poor and too old to be treated like a child. That is why this moment, the death of USAID, isn't a tragedy for Africa. It's a test. Can Africa succeed without the training wheels? If you ask Onyeani, the answer is yes, but only if the psychological break comes first. Because aid can stop tomorrow. But if the dependency mindset doesn't stop with it, then nothing really changes. That's the fight now. It's not just over dollars, but over dignity. So when the media says that we've abandoned Africa, remember what Chika Onyeani said. The real battle for the African mind, not its wallet. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. I say let Africa rise, not by Western guilt, but on African grit.